to the next set of games here between Option 12 and Blitzkrieg, where I forgot to mute my stream. Option 12 and Blitzkrieg. And we're just about ready to jump in here, and here we are to Champion Select.
Yeah, big matchup here between two of the three teams that we have tied at the top of the standings. Going to be an exciting one, absolutely. You have any particular predictions?
I think Option 12 is going to do, gonna come out of the gates pretty strong on this one. I'm tempted to give them the 2-0. Blitzkrieg's been doing well, but I think Option 12's got it today.
Yeah, I would be forced to agree with that. I think a 1v1 is certainly possible. I would be shocked, honestly, to see a 2-0 for Blitzkrieg, but, you know, I like being shocked, so that could be cool. But to me, Option 12 has looked overall like the most impressive, the most complete team so far here. We're only in week 3, though, so don't want to jump the gun on crowning anybody, sir.
Yeah, absolutely. There's still lots of potential all across the league, and it's Option 12 maybe looking like the strongest, but there's lots of other strong contenders, and Blitzkrieg is one of them. Like you mentioned, this is a game between two of our current tied for first teams.
Yep. So early on, we got a Blitzkrieg ban against Blitzkrieg. So a little bit of mascot taken away there. Nivea banned on the side of Blitzkrieg, as well as Shen, and now the Nocturne.
Yep, all three of those big targeted bans. Shen, Greatbeard Odin is known for his Scion and Shen play. Lyce is very well, is a very great player of Anivia, and Prowler has been showing Nocturne for most of the game. So clever bans that coming out of Blitzkrieg, setting the pace, right?
Yeah, good points there. You wonder if Option 12 will prioritize getting that Scion for Greatbeard of Odin in this first rotation to make sure that it doesn't get banned away. Not that Greatbeard of Odin isn't comfortable in other champions, but when you think that guy, you think Scion especially, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. I do know that they prioritize Morgana far above all the other champions. Ashaway is such a threat on that Morgana. You can't ban them all, but Morgana is one that many teams like to ban against Option 12.
Yeah, I would certainly agree with you on that. Ashaway, as Morgana has been on fire this split, finding some crazy snipes of findings. On the side of Blitzkrieg, you have a Zed in first rotation, so presumably that will be for Exia in the mid lane. And to counteract that, we're going to go with a relatively safe pick with the Orianna for Lyce Mountains.
Right off the bat, we're seeing a difference in focus between the teams. Option 12 is looking at a lot of very strong team fight champions, whereas Blitzkrieg is actually looking for 1v1 pick-off assassins. So they're going to be playing to two different win conditions. And I'm interested to see how the rest of the team wraps up. This Urgot would have been an interesting pick, but I actually really like the Kled. I'm hoping they lock that in.
Go back. No, not Tryndamere, that's the worst. All right, Renekton. It's not Tryndamere, I'm okay with it.
You're right.
So, yeah, like you said, looks like Blitzkrieg are setting themselves up to, you know, try to get picks, have side lane pressure, whereas Option 12, very, very strong team fighting composition coming out so far. They did pick up that Scion for Greatbeard of Odin.
A very intelligent draft coming out of both teams here.
Top lane. I'm not too familiar with how that matchup goes, actually.
I recommend
Scion into Renekton. You know, that's probably pretty close to a skill matchup. The Scion's gonna poke, believe it or not, more than the Renekton is.
Sure.
But that Renekton, if he gets in there and gets a couple nice trades off, he can bully the Scion out.
Yeah, it's hard for me to think of very many champions that can actually stand up to Renekton early on in the laning phase. So Greatbeard of Odin, though, certainly knowledgeable of the limits of Scion, so I imagine he'll be able to keep himself safe. It's a ton of physical damage coming out from Blitzkrieg so far.
Yeah, tanks are going to be a huge priority in this match, especially for Option 12. If there's not any form of ability power damage in there, it's going to be a clock, a running clock on the match if they get a beefy front line.
Yeah, I'm wondering if you are almost forced to go for something like a Gragas here, someone that will bring some semblance of magic damage. Kaisa does a little bit, and I guess you theoretically could still build her AP like people were doing earlier this summer.
Yeah, that is a solid point. I didn't even consider Kaisa an AP. That might round out the team. It would be an interesting choice, to say the least.
I would certainly hope they do it now that they've locked in Kayn as well, another physical damage source. Blitzkrieg living up to their name. They are, I would imagine, hoping to just run through this game before the armor stacking can come up. Tons of damage early on. See what Ace picks up here in the bottom lane. If it will be his own pick or the jungle, still waiting to be picked for Prowler. And it's...
Wait a second.
Does Ace know he's not playing mid lane anymore?
Yeah, I'm wondering about that. Well, I don't know what's going on with Option 12's team anymore. I'm wondering what Ashway's gonna pick here. It could in theory be Morgana Lux lane, and I think that's what it's gonna be. Cho'Gath jungle is a thing.
Bindings for days in the bot lane with Option 12.
Oh, a brand support. I actually like a brand support a lot out of Blitzkrieg. I really hope they lock this in. That is the source of ability power damage that they need.
It gives them the magic damage. Oh, no. Swap over to Alistar. Oh boy, is a Braum. This is going to be a wacky lane.
Absolutely. Blitzkrieg likes to get me started on the wrong thing and troll me with the switch at the end, but
I do like the Braum pick because there's going to be so many bindings and projectiles flying around in this bottom lane, but we talked about Blitzkrieg being potentially too physically damage heavy. Option 12 are almost all magic damage. So this is I almost feel like both teams got together and decided that they were going to just confuse the hell out of us in game one.
Right, it's certainly going to make it an interesting game to watch unfold in front of us. Both teams have some tanks, some frontline, a little bit more on Option 12. That makes sense. It's closer to their playstyle. Obviously, Cho'Gath and Sion, two of the biggest tanks currently available. But Braum and Renekton both are going to be non-trivial frontliners.
Yeah, they're legitimately tanks in the late game. I feel bad for whoever ends up being the focus of Blitzkrieg's initial dive, because you would literally have two different guys who can just go in and become all invisible and fancy and crap and assassinate you with their ultimates in Kayn and Zed.
Yeah, and a third that can jump in from 2 screens away and secure a kill or two.
Yeah, so Option 12 with this very unorthodox bot lane, I think it's going to be very important for them to not fall behind early, because if they do, then I've already made this this pun once, but Blitzkrieg will live up to their name and just run through them, I think.
Absolutely. Although Kaisa takes a while to turn online, she's very item dependent, and a Lux Morgana lane is going to be very strong, starting level 1 and not really falling off pretty much at any point in the game. So it is kind of Option 12's bot lane to lose.
Mm-hmm.
But having said that, on the mirror side, it's Blitzkrieg's top lane to lose, because there's a lot of damage coming out there and not a lot of kill potential coming from Option 12 to counter the top. So it's definitely going to be a top lane focus coming out of likely going to be a source of pressure from the top lane coming out of Blitzkrieg, while Option 12 will have to rely on their bot lane for the same.
Yeah, so knowing that, at least in my opinion, Blitzkrieg will want to get off to a quick start with this Kayn pick. You being a jungle main, where do you see each jungler trying to prioritize early on?
Well, I would suspect that Kayn might look mid lane to get the Zed rolling earlier. So that's where I would gank starting level 3 or 4 if I was Kayn. Cho'Gath needs to build tanky for the most part, so that can be anything. What I would imagine would be either a mid lane gank or a bot lane gank coming out of Cho'Gath.
Mm-hmm. Sounds good. So I'm still not entirely that well versed in regards to Kayn. Do you expect him to go with the Shadow Assassin form or the Darken form in this game?
I think he could go either way. He isn't the only frontliner, so he can either add to that front line by going Darkin, or he could help provide more damage. Again, it's still ability power, so I'm not sure which. Or I'm sorry, it's still attack damage. Excuse me. So he could go either way. I think I'd like to see the shadow form personally. But if Sick Nasty J Dog finds that he's falling behind, Darkin would be a great way to contribute to the team, even though he's not personally solo killing anyone.
Sounds good. All right, so we are about to get into the Nero skin showdown as soon as our spectator delay expires.
A lot of good skin potentials on both teams. I'm waiting for it to load, obviously, but
yeah, black screen of death, as Kenos calls it.
Here we go.
While we're waiting here, oh, actually, there we go. What are you thinking for these skin showdowns?
I'm thinking option 12 blew it out of the water. I love the Dark Star Cho'Gath skin. It's a charity skin, so bonus points there as well. Nice synergy with the Dark Star Orianna, my favorite Orianna skin. Yeah, I'm gonna give it to option 12.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to as well. I really love. I don't know if they planned this, but just the color is all very well coordinated between all 5 skins. So
I can.
And they are even on blue side, so it all lives up to.
Yeah, really well thought out. I option 12 absolutely.
Have 2 skins on the side of Blitzkrieg anyway. So.
Well, yeah, but option 12 does absolutely think about their skin synergies like this. When they're talking it out, so I think that this was intentional.
Nice. All right, well, while we're waiting for the game to finish loading up, we do want to give a shout out to Old Host. This set is brought to you by Old Host. You can support the LCUS by signing with Old Host, where you can build your own website. Go to www.oldhost.net and click promotions for details. For every sign up using the coupon code LCUS, 100% of all profits will be donated back to us. Time is limited for this promotion, so sign up today and help support the LCUS.
Gotta love sponsors like that who are willing to give such a nice deal where any money is sent back to improve the stream. Really great opportunity.
All right, so as we load in, a reminder, this is not only a matchup between 2 great teams, but 2 teams that are tied for first in the league right now. And we're only on week 3, but there's an old adage about winning and losing championships where you can't win a championship in week 3, but you can lose it for yourself. Every match counts the same at the end of the season. So if you find yourself 1 game, 1 point out of playoffs, sometimes you look back on early weeks and say, well, that was a game, that was a point we should have picked up. So every match matters, every move matters, and for these 2 teams near the top tied at 4 points, even more so. Dark Binding misses from Ashaway, so I think that there's a bug in this game because she never misses those, but maybe just playing around early on.
Yeah, she just got to calibrate a little bit in.
Test the wind.
Yeah, exactly.
Looks like both teams willing to agree to a passive start here.
I think Lux and I think Ace and Ashaway are considering getting a double bind off here.
Yeah, I'm not sure if J-Dog would have gone to the top side of his jungle to start anyways, but certainly the threat of the annoyance of the Lux Morgana could have factored into that decision. They'll now head back to help Prowler get started on his own red buff, and we're underway.
Yeah, Canes do love to start on Raptors, so I think that was always going to happen. But
yeah, that Reaping Slash filling them out very, very quickly. Here we go. I wonder if we'll see a quick top lane gank here from J-Dog.
Yeah, definitely potential here for a level 2 or level 3 gank on those lanes. Kind of from an if you're not expecting it, it can be at an unexpected time and angle. So definitely some potential there.
Washed up top laner, you would certainly want to be level 2 or even 3 to get access to a skill combo to get in there. J-Dog is going to head right for the top side crab, so Prowler mirroring him on the bottom. Pretty standard so far. Marcus pushing in Exia. And washed up top laner is actually pushing this lane pretty hard, so I don't think that they're looking for an early gank.
Although he is pathing that way. I think if I was Sick Nasty J-Dog, I'd be looking at mid lane since Orianna is pushed forward.
Yeah. Oh, Flash Binding from Ace comes out right away. Prowler is there as well. Dark Binding actually hits a minion. Oh no, they had it all locked up. But a minion plays Secret Service for Lopi Senpai there. Saves him from the combo. And now Marcus is in a lot of trouble. Gets ignited by Exia and forced to flash away.
Action right off the bat here. Bot lane focus coming out of option 12 while Sick Nasty J-Dog isn't able to find anything.
Yeah, a few things going in the favor of Blitzkrieg there, though. They got the flash out of Ace looking for that binding. Ashway not able to win the follow-up.
Big trade coming out top lane.
Yeah, wash up top laner. Gets chunked out pretty hard by Odin in a trade that the Renekton actually initiated.
Ended up eating a turd or two.
Oh boy, Light Binding lands again on the Gotta Get Lucky. Nice shield from Lopi Senpai, minimizes the damage. Ashway missed another binding there, 0 for 3 so far, at least from ones I've seen.
She's going in for another one. Lands that one.
That one onto Senpai. Light Binding not able to follow up. So far, option 12, they haven't been able to combo the bindings together yet.
Still though, lots of positioning and dancing around that they're forcing the Blitzkrieg bot lane into doing, as another another Dark Binding into Tormented Soil hits Lofi.
Exia has completely reversed the pressure in mid lane now with that flash being down. Marcus also had to recall and use that teleport, so a summoner spell advantage for Blitzkrieg in the mid lane. Ace and Ashway are starting to get pretty low on mana here as well, so if the bottom lane of Blitzkrieg continue to endure this pressure, they will get a reprieve very soon. Prowler is up near the top lane, but Odin is pushing in top laner, so I don't think that anything will happen up there.
J-Dog looking bot lane. Is going to get spotted by a ward.
Odin, as we said, he's so well versed on this champion, really holding his own against Renekton, one of the biggest lane bullies in the game.
Yeah, doing really well actually into that into washed up top laners Renekton, and he's such a threat on that Renekton too. And definitely no slouch to the match. Washed up top laners definitely no slouch to the matchup either.
There's the binding combo, but just not really enough damage to make an impactful trade down there. Washed up top laner running down Greatbeard of Odin, gets a little bit of a heal from the Call to Me, and now J-Dog and Prowler are going to run into each other in the river. J-Dog gets the Scuttle Crab with the smite, and now everyone is collapsing down. Exia is here. Can he get the slow with his his spinning slash? No. They do force the flash out of Prowler though.
Non-stop scuffling here.
Yeah, a lot of action for not much payoff, but they do get the flash out of Prowler, so I'm sure they'll be happy with that. Flash is burned now on 3 of option 12's members. Wash up top laner had to flash up in the top lane, actually. I missed that one, but looks like he flashed, recalled, and has now teleported back to lane. So Odin continues to do very well in that lane.
Yeah, normally we're accustomed to the tanks in top lane falling a little bit behind compared to a lane bully, but Greatbeard of Odin actually doing fine by himself. Bind is caught in bot lane.
He's in so much trouble. He had no flash. Ace found the original snipe with the light binding. Everyone else follows up this time, and this time it goes according to plan. Gotta get lucky, goes down. Exia is here though, and he might look to follow up. He is level 6. Prowler is taken solo. He's gonna go down without the death mark even being needed, I think. Oh, no, they will actually have to burn it, and Exia has to flash for it as well, so maybe a little greedy early on, but personally I can't fault them. I thought they would get it without needing it as well.
Yeah, ended up being very close. Well played on both sides. Exia more than capable of securing the kill, but Prowler was able to make him spend more than he wanted to in the form of that flash ignite.
Yeah, absolutely. And Marcus in the mid lane, taking advantage of that roam with a 14 CS advantage actually now, despite having had his flash burned early.
Yeah, that's almost back up. So he's almost weathered the storm, and especially now that Death Mark and Ignite are down, that's a much safer lane experience now for Lice in that mid lane, at least for the next couple minutes.
Yeah, gotta be feeling good at this point in the lane. So overall, a very, very even game. 1 kill apiece, 200k, or how do you say that? 200 gold lead. Or now it's exactly even. So both sides, nobody really making any errors so far. I would say it's been pretty solid play, pretty risk-averse play out of both sides. Prowler is lying in wait as J-Dog tries to start up this dragon. It looks like J-Dog will pull off of it.
Yeah, just like you said, none of these were really bad plays, right? Both teams were able to force something out, but only through careful planning and setup.
J-Dog and Prowler are bumping noses in the river again. Prowler isn't level 6, so this could end up being a little bit scary. Maka shows up with the command protect. More wet noodle fighting in the top lane between washed up top laner and Greatbeard of Odin.
Sick Nasty J-Dog is actually pulling a bit ahead of Prowler on this one. It's a little bit to be expected in that Cho'Gath's clear speed is not particularly fast, especially compared to Kayn. But
Exia is going in, has the death mark as well. There's the shockwave from Marcus, but the last Shuriken lands, and that will be enough, a solo kill for Exia.
And starting to get that Zed ahead. Double binding down in bot lane. Combo is never going to stop being annoying.
And Ace is getting close to level 6 as well, so if they land another one like that, they will actually have the damage, I think, to finish off proceedings. Odin actually taken really low, so wash up top laner starting to accrue an advantage in the top lane. Not so much in farm though, and Prowler is here. So washed up top laner is going to have to respect this. Dodges the knockup, but now he's going to get hit by the Sion ultimate. Everything shows up. Didn't even pop the ultimate. I'm not sure if the silence stopped it or if he just decided it wasn't worth it at that point. But Dominus not used, and washed up top laner goes down.
Yeah, really clean play, and getting the stack onto the Cho'Gath too was a big win, a big part of that play's success.
Oh, J-Dog looking for Marcus. He gets the reach down, and Exia will show up just, oh my gosh, that damage from the full combo without even the ultimate is ridiculous. Marcus might have to go back to base. Does have teleport again.
Yeah, that Zed is going to become a constant threat and a problem to deal with. It's going to require a tank to deal with that Zed for any reasonable amount of time, which is going to be very hard for the rest of option 12 because either is the jungler or the top laner.
Bottom lane, well, oh, actually, Killer Instinct popped by Gotta Get Lucky. He's looking for Ashaway. There's the Soul Shackle stuff, and the stopwatch will keep Ashaway alive through the frog. Gotta Get Lucky, gets away from the stun, though, and now Ashaway has to flash away. Can Ace, he lands the final binding. There's a dark binding as well. What an outplay by the bottom lane. Exia gets another solo kill in the mid lane, though, as an answer.
That bot lane play was beautiful. I missed the mid lane play. I'm sure it was also beautiful, but the layering of CCs, the turnaround there, that was a incredible play out of Ace and Ashaway.
Definitely looks like these two players have practiced this combo before. They know exactly how to win in that situation. And Exia now onto Prowler. Looks like he didn't have to use the death mark earlier to get that solo kill. Beast comes down. Exia's in trouble, though. Here comes J-Dog, and he does get in with the Shadow Step to finish off Prowler, I think. But Prowler got the shutdown onto Exia. That's a big chunk of gold. J-Dog has to flash over the pit after finishing off Prowler. But the shutdown onto Exia is pretty big right there.
Exactly. Resets that gold, sure, but yeah, option 12 is going to feel great about that. In fact, they've pulled ahead with a very small lead.
J-Dog now looking towards the bottom lane. I think he's actually just doing another crab. And top laner and Odin just continue to do their little brawl.
Collapse coming up on Exia. Or Lice, actually.
Showing up. Shadow steps in, gets the reaching strike down. Excuse me, Blades reach, whatever. Some sort of reachy thing. And looks like everyone's just going to return to their lanes, return to the routine.
Just set up just reset the lanes, get everything in a good state and look for the next play.
Yeah, you see 3 Null Magic Mantles already picked up on the side of Blitzkrieg, so they are well aware of the fact that it's almost all magic damage coming out of option 12. Oh, there's the combo again onto Luffy Senpai, just trying to clear out a war. It's 2/3 of his health for it. Now option 12 looking towards the dragon. East is available for Prower.
It's going to be really hard to secure that with Prowler's Feast, but a big team fight coming out.
Yeah, J-Dog, Exia, everyone's there. Big shockwave from Marcus, but he doesn't quite have the damage. Deathmark goes in. Exia can't really stay in there, though, and Ashway finishes off Luffy Senpai. Now Wash Up top laner is here. He's the first top laner to revive, but here comes Odin. Huge ultimate onto the backline. He's going to knock out almost everyone. It's just Ace and Odin against Wash Up top laner. Key binding from Ace will keep himself alive. I think that the Renekton will be able to walk away from this, but it's a 4 for 3, excuse me. Wow, what an explosive fight out of nowhere there.
Right. The team fight comp of option 12 really showing its strength there. I love that a spontaneous fight just broke out around a neutral objective so early in the game.
And option 12, they were the ones who secured the Ocean Drake, so that will help them in their laning. And then Ace goes mid, picks up a little farm. You knew that's where he wanted to be anyways this whole time. So after all of that, we have an Ocean Drake and a 1k gold on the side of option 12.
Yeah, bit of a lead forming. Option 12 loves to be ahead. They know how to push the tempo very well. So let's see how Blitzkrieg can deal with it now that they're being out Blitzkrieged. To use your pun.
So we talked about how both teams have really just gone into one type of damage. At this point in the game, you know, it's a lead, but it's not a very big one on the side of option 12. And you've got that 4-2-3 Z. So I would say both teams still have clear win conditions that they can play towards.
Yeah, and Renekton's not losing necessarily against Greatbeard of Odin. Watch Up top laner is certainly able to hold his own there, as they do a pretty big trade. But so definitely not over by any stretch of the imagination.
Ooh, there's the binding combo again. They get about half of Gotta Get Lucky's health gone. They've been pushing a lot. Oh no, another Dark Binding land. And I think this might end up being killed. Ace steps very far forward and doesn't get the damage down. Now Ashaway's going in with the Soul Shackles. Everyone is solo. Loki Senpai, I think, is going to drop. Yes, another binding from Ace. Finds the snipe, but now Gotta Get Lucky is trying to finish off Ace. He is all alone, though. Now Prowler's here. Good night, Kaisa.
Trade up in top lane as well. Orianna ult does come
Marcus
out.
is here as well. Yeah, watch up top laner. I think he might go down here. Yes, one more auto attack from Greatbeard of Odin, but now Exia is here looking for some revenge. Deathmark comes out. J-Dog's here as well. Marcus is going to drop to the Deathmark. Odin, can he get away from this? Red buff applied. That's a nice slow, and in goes Kayn. I don't think he will have the damage to burst out this Scion. No, certainly not. But Blitzkrieg answer a big play in the top lane. They do go down in a big way in the bottom lane, though. I tell you, we shouldn't be surprised that Ace and Ashaway are well practiced in this combo, unorthodox as it may be, but they are showing really, really good knowledge of this.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Ashaway has spent a lot of time in the last week telling Ace exactly all of her binding techniques, because they have both been on point once they got a little bit warmed up in this game.
Yeah, it's funny because you know, we've talked about this in the past. When you show something like this, something unorthodox, it's just so difficult, you know, not even for just the team you're playing, but for the entire league, because it's something they have to think about. It's something that they have to respect going forward.
Yeah, exactly. There is so much planning and consideration that goes into every pick and ban phase well before the actual match starts. Something like this is just going to complicate that even that much more.
Push from option 12 in the mid lane now. You got 3 mages all trying to push down this tower, and it looks like they might actually get it. Washed up top laner coming up behind them. The turret will drop, but now can they get away? Washed up top laner here. He is going to get binded and CC'd forever, but Exia goes in. He's looking for the kill. Deathmark onto Ace, actually, as Marcus is going to get away from washed up top laner. And I think Blitzkrieg, they're going to come up empty here. They don't get anything.
That was so close to a trade. Although at the end of the day, it would have been a 1-for-1 trade. I'm not even sure it was that great of an idea to go in the first place. But even then, Lyce is able to make it away safely.
Yeah, I think Exia a little greedy there, not using the death mark to secure the kill onto Marcus. Instead tried to get onto Ace, but wasn't able to do so. Option 12 relentless in this push down the mid lane.
Yeah, absolutely. Option 12 is pushing the tempo like they love to do. With an Infernal Drake coming up in 45 seconds, I would expect that they set up some vision around that objective, maybe sneak in 1 or 2 quick recalls, but it actually looks like they're showing some focus up into the top lane.
We talked about the early Null Magic Mantles picked up on the side of Blitzkrieg. Right back goes option 12, 3 Ninja Tabbies already.
Yeah, option 12 absolutely aware of that damage profile coming out of Blitzkrieg, and certainly happy to take advantage of it. Gold for gold, pound for pound, I think Ninja Tabby is probably the strongest armor item in the game.
Yeah, very, very good. And not pricey at all, as you alluded to. Rift Herald coming out from Blitzkrieg. Looks like they will get this mid lane turret down. Option 12, they are collapsing. And Greybeard of Odin does have Scion's ultimate available.
They kept the turret up. I wasn't expecting that, actually.
Yeah, they keep it alive. Blitzkrieg, they gain priority on that Infernal Drake you were talking about. But this is a dangerous fight to take, down 5k gold.
Yeah, and this is very likely going to define.
Exia flash looking for an ult onto Ace, but Ace got into the brush just beforehand, so flash wasted on the side of the Zed.
Oh no,
12, they'll immediately start up that Drake now.
Yeah, the vision scuffle is still happening. Definitely not. Blitzkrieg is definitely not giving up on this objective at all. Although I say that, I
have to go now. Yeah, it's gonna be too late at this point. So 3 Infernal Drake goes over to option 12. Exia will finish off that mid lane turret in exchange. Ace right there, I believe, using the final spark just to interrupt a recall.
Yeah.
A short enough cooldown that you can use it like that.
Yeah, I was wondering about that, but yeah, that's things are starting to definitely get in the favor of option 12 here. That Infernal Drake only exasperating the 5k gold lead that they've built themselves. I'm interested to see how Blitzkrieg tries to get back into this game and how they try to work around it. That Zed is always such an option with split pushing or something along those lines, but I'm noticing that option 12 is just moving as a cohesive unit. So they're definitely prepared for the random Zed to appear in this or that lane. I'd actually rather like to see Blitzkrieg do a 1-3-1 strategy or something like that to try to pull apart option 12 a little bit better.
Yeah, option 12, very textbook rotation up here. They get to the top lane. Blitzkrieg pretty slow to react. They get a free turret, and they're going to get probably about half of this second one before they're potentially forced away. They are unafraid, though. Exia and Gotta Get Lucky on the side. Those two guys have to be careful, though. Exia goes in. He's looking for Ashaway. Uses the ultimate. I believe that Morgana will certainly drop down. She goes. A nice shockwave, but it doesn't really have the damage still, and they will catch onto Odin. So Blitzkrieg, they react a little bit slow, but eventually do, and they pick up 2 kills. And they're still on the chase, actually. Shadow Step from J-Dog is going to cut off Ace. They get the knock-up down. Stopwatch might keep him alive just long enough. Nice flash, but Gotta Get Lucky gets in there, picks up the kill, finishes it off. Marcus does finish off the Braum, and look at that! Marcus and Gotta Get Lucky pick each other up. So it's a 4 for 2. And Prowler was in the bottom half of the map that whole time, so option 12 pushing aggressively, but leaving themselves open to counterplay, which Blitzkrieg certainly took advantage of.
Yeah, Option 12 spent a lot trying to disengage from that fight initially. Unfortunately, much of it didn't land, and Blitzkrieg was more than happy to mop up the 4 members of Option 12 who were overextended and caught out there.
Yeah, they were also just so far up the lane. I mean, that's a really long way back to your turret. Decent job by Marcus at the end to pick up 2 kills to sort of rescue things somewhat, but that gold lead cut down to 4K now.
Yeah, Blitzkrieg really needed to change momentum and to stem the bleeding, and that fight absolutely could have been the start, the catalyst to help them stay in this game, stay relevant, and start to make a comeback.
Talked about the 3 ninja tabbies. Also have 2 hourglasses and a 3rd being built by Marcus as well. Not that those items wouldn't necessarily be built anyways, especially in the case of Ashaway on Morgana, but just going to be even more effective against this entirely physical damage competition. Although, gotta get lucky, is itemizing towards the AP type of build.
Oh, he is perfect. I do like to see that. I think that's a very intelligent choice. And both those items are very good for Kai'Sa and the way that her ability upgrades work. So I think that's a very intelligent itemization.
Exia is looking for a very, very wide flank here, but was spotted out. Things coming down from option 12, and Prowler will go away. Seems like Blitzkrieg, the way this game has gone is that when Blitzkrieg is actually able to organize and get everyone involved, fights go okay for them. But option 12 has been catching them off guard with bindings, and Scion ultimates, and ruptures. And when you get down a member against a composition like this, it's so difficult to find a way in. Oh, nice binding from Ashaway. Ace a little slow on the follow-up with the final spark there, so they don't get the damage down. And now Luffy Senpai is looking to get in there. Washed up top laner on a flank from the side. Exia goes in, finishes off Marcus easily, but now he may get run down. Jumps back, and I don't think that Odin will be able to finish him off. Yes, he does. He finds the last auto attack. Washed up top laner is just tanking up the entire backline. He finishes off Ace, and now got to get Lucky showing up. He is really trying to clean up this fight. Not able to get the last auto attack down onto Odin, though, and Prowler's still full health. He could turn this around. Ashaway and Prowler trying to run down 3 very low health members of Blitzkrieg. Flash for the rupture, gets the damage down onto Luffy Senpai, but the scream isn't long enough. Ashaway faithful binding will allow Prowler to finish it off with 1 more auto attack. Wow, a 3 for 2 in a very extended fight. And now option 12, they get to keep pushing because they know how low washed up top laner and got to get Lucky are.
That was a huge flank coming out of washed up top laner. I thought at the start of that fight that option 12 was done, that Blitzkrieg was absolutely going to win that, but they managed to turn that and weirdly enough come out with so much more health than Blitzkrieg. That was really surprising. Although there is Warmogs on Scion, so I think that makes a bit of sense, but huge team fight. So many Zonias were used too.
It's so difficult for Blitzkrieg because, you know, you have to take so much damage just to get in onto this option 12 team. You have to run through so many bindings, the command attacks, the distances, the ruptures, whereas Exia is looking for another solo kill. Nice hourglass from Marcus, but I think he will still go down here. Yeah, enough shurikens land to finish him off. I think where that fight turned in the mid lane is Exia actually was at about 1/4 health before he even went in. He got the kill onto Marcus, but he was so low that he couldn't get anything else done in that fight.
Yeah, a great job of peeling out of the tanks coming from option 12. The Cho'Gath and Scion, Greatbeard, and Prowler did a great job of getting in the way and forcing the damage and the backline dive from Blitzkrieg to back off and to leave them alive.
Washed up top laner getting some free time in the top lane, but that turret is extremely healthy. Infernal Drake now spawned. This would be the 2nd for option 12.
Not to mention another stack for Cho'Gath, which, as long as we're here, he is up to 6 stacks. And of them, 2 of them weren't... Cho'Gath gets 6 stacks for free, and of Prowler's 6 stacks, 4 of them were the for free ones.
Washed up top laner, though, still beating away on this turret, and I think he will get it eventually. But option 12, they've turned their focus to the bottom lane. It's interesting to me that they've had Prowler being the one split pushing quite a bit in this game, as opposed to Odin, who can join fights from further away.
Yeah, that is a little bit weird. There's a teleport. There's 2 teleports on option 12, and then Greatbeard Odin also has that ult, like you said.
Oh, binding land. Gotta get lucky. Nice shield from OP Senpai to keep him alive. Shockwave misses, and Marcus is dead to right as Exia gets in. Ashaway goes down, but look at Blitzkrieg. They are all taken so low, but I think this time they will have the damage to finish off all of the kills. Option 12 oversteps in that case. And they're pinging the Baron.
Yeah, absolutely. Baron is a great call here. They've even found the Cho'Gath. They might be able to chase him down.
Prowler has to stay alive, but gotta get lucky. Taking the Killer Instinct in, they do land Winter's Bite as well. Prowler's just gonna try to feast down Loki Senpai, but not enough damage. And this should end up being a free Baron for Blitzkrieg. They are on the comeback trail now.
Absolutely. Off the back of that clean 5-for-0 ace, Blitzkrieg is looking in great position here. Basically evened up the gold, and definitely going to do that with a Baron, which should be free. Although 3 members of option 12 have come back up.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to get there in time, though. Nope, not even close. So Baron goes over to Blitzkrieg, and you were talking earlier about them 1-3-1-ing. Boy, with that Baron buff, would that make that an effective tactic?
Yeah, exactly. I think it would have been effective in the first place, but with that Baron, it's going to be that much more.
So if you're option 12 right now, I mean, your strategy throughout this game has been to group up, make consolidated pushes down a single lane. Blitzkrieg just punished you heavily for that. It's got to be a little disconcerting now.
Yeah, absolutely. I think what they need to do is they need to keep Prowler's Cho'Gath with the group now. That's twice now that he's been out collecting farm or something and not there at the start of the fight, and I think that's making all the difference.
Yeah, agreed. Having a big meat shield there, potentially landing the silence onto someone like Zed can be so devastating.
Flash forward for Ace.
For a binding. Not even close to getting it.
Oh,
and they've sent Prowler down to the bottom lane, so he's the one trying to fend off Exia on this Zed.
That
has returned to base.
Yeah, exactly. I love to see that they did engage in a 1-3-1.
Oh, another fight coming here. Nice shockwave onto the backline, but washed up top laner is in the backline. He is wrecking Lismakis. Prowler gets there this time, and I think that he will be able to help a little bit, but gotta get lucky. He's already picked up Greatbeard of Odin. They do find the answer onto Loki Senpai, but Ashaway is in so much trouble. J-Dog finishes her off, excuse me. Prowler gets back into the backline. It is a 2-for-3 so far, but this Cho'Gath is in trouble. J-Dog, does he have the damage to finish this off? Oh, Exia comes back with another death mark. Prowler gonna go down. A clean ace again for Blitzkrieg.
This time option 12 did do a little bit better. They traded 2 for 5, and it was nice that Prowler was there. This is actually a really bad sign if you're an option 12 fan, because Exia wasn't even there at the start of the fight. Prowler proactively ran back, but Exia continued to split push for a while. So effectively that means that Blitzkrieg was able to defend their inhibitor turret in a 4v5 scenario. And not only that, but to win the team fight as a whole as well.
Yeah, washed up top laner has done a excellent job in this game of getting into the backline and sort of just causing havoc back there. You've got Odin trying to zone out the rest of the team, but these 3 squishy mages have had so much trouble dealing with that big crocodile.
Yeah, exactly. Oftentimes he bursts not 2 but 3 of them down too, just because of the way that they're stacked at the opening of their team fight. A lot of value coming out of that Renekton.
So for option 12, we talked about, you know, we praised them for this unorthodox pick early on, so it's only fair that now we question it now that it's not working. It seems like Blitzkrieg have solved the puzzle, and they know how to combat this now.
Exactly, and all the threats are online for Blitzkrieg as well. The threats are online for option 12 as well, but speaking of threats, Exia
is going for Marcus again. Marcus will get away this time. Combination of the hourglass and the shockwave, but so dangerous anytime Exia gets near you right now.
Yeah, and Exia's Deathmark ult is almost back up already. It's only a matter of time now. So he can repeat that play almost immediately, whereas the Zonius is going to be on cooldown for quite some time for Lice.
Yeah, only 30 seconds on that Deathmark cooldown right now. Very, very potent.
The Zed and Lux are having a competition for who can have the shortest ult cooldown.
Ace is currently at 39 seconds for what it's worth, although it is not ranked 3 yet.
And if you get a kill with Lux ult, it actually reduces the cooldown. Great vision game coming out of both teams here. I really like Blitzkrieg's vision, but and Option 12 always does a great job with their vision as well. So really good macro team play coming out of both these teams.
Yeah, so it's a 4,000 gold lead now for Blitzkrieg after they were down 5,000 earlier in the game. Ace could be in trouble here, though. Gonna have to pop that Zonia's probably right as the death mark would pop. Well done there. J-Dog over the wall. Gets a little bit more damage down, but Final Spark scrapes across 3 members, but it did very little damage.
Yeah, a weirdly little amount of damage. I think the Guardian proc off of Lofi Senpai's Braum negated a bunch of that damage, but I was a little bit surprised to see that they weren't chunked a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, we do have so much magic resistance. Watch up top laner. It's into the back line. Exia getting onto Ace. I think Ace has no chance to get out of this one alive. We see another flank from the Renekton. Actually, gotta get lucky is the first to drop in this fight, but Makis and Ace immediately follow him. And now Option 12, they are cornered in this river. They are in so much trouble. All of Blitzkrieg are living up to their name, trying to get back onto Ashaway. Actually, Exia goes down, so Prowler and Odin are standing strong against 3 members now of Blitzkrieg. As Ashaway goes down, can they cut down these tanks? Blitzkrieg, they are just slowly whittling away. This Cho'Gath now finally under 1,000 health, but Odin lands a big knockup. This is such a slow fight, but the tanks will eventually be taken down. So Blitzkrieg, they win another one, another 5 for 2. Zombie Scion, I don't think he's going to be able to chase anything down. Lofi Senpai limps away, and Blitzkrieg looks like it's all going in their favor now.
Great Beard, I've watched like 3 times. He almost gets a kill in that death form, and I'm always, it's always so close. Yeah, the last bit of that fight, such a slow crawl as 3 DPS try to tear through properly itemized tanks. But at the end of the day, things are looking really bleak for Option 12. Lost 3 team fights in a row, and have to deal with a 5,000 gold lead coming from Blitzkrieg, when previously Blitzkrieg had a 5,000 gold deficit.
Yeah, and I mean, you see the effectiveness of the armor stacking Prowler and Odin there in that fight, but you know, these 3 mages can only itemize so much armor. You know, you have to still build some damage, and so you wonder how Option 12 even problem solves this at this point.
Right, exactly. You have to start stacking MR Shred or something like that, but it's a tall tale at this point. Something I noticed that I want to point out is that there may be 3 Ninja Tabbies. Oh, fight breaks out here.
Ace looks for a flash binding, but doesn't land it. Prowler now flashes forward. Option 12, it almost looks like they're starting to tilt a little bit, looking really hard for some fights. Makis is in trouble. He's going to go down in the back lane. J-Dog and Watch Up top laner get back around to him. Exia isn't there, so that's probably why Option 12 decided to start this fight. But we saw them lose a basically 4v5 earlier, and it looks like it's going to happen again. Got to get lucky. It stayed safe this whole time. He's ready to clean up this fight. Running down Ace up near the top of it. I think he'll get this any second now. Actually, he has to use his own Zonias there, but meanwhile, the rest of his team is going to finish things off. Exia finally arrives, cleans up the fight. That's going to be a 5 for 1, as Blitzkrieg does themselves one better compared to the last couple fights. Now they're on to the Baron. It seems elementary at this point that Blitzkrieg are going to be taking game 1.
Yeah, absolutely. It's Blitzkrieg's game to lose at this point. Won a team fight right next to the Baron pit. Don't even have to run over there. Collect a free Baron. They have waves pushing. Absolutely in a great position. I'm wondering if they're going to be able to finish off the game entirely.
Lux. Surprised if they don't finish it off during this Baron buff, because they've been winning every single fight, so they just have to get a fight during this Baron buff.
Yeah, exactly. Something that you had mentioned, maybe Option 12 was tilting or something like that. I said they're picking fights and they're choosing to engage when they're behind, and I'm not sure that that's what they should be doing. They're 10,000 gold behind now, so they should absolutely be just defending, wave clearing, trying to stall the game at this point. Definitely not engaging on a fight that they've chosen.
I mean, Exia was in the bottom lane split pushing at the start of that, so I'm sure that's why they went for it. The call was that isn't there. Let's take this 5v4 while we can, but it just didn't work out. Maka's going to get solo killed once again. Not a fun game for this Oriana today. Washed up top laner, though. He is fought all alone, and I think it'll take them a while, but they probably will burn through this Croc.
Oh, that was a great flash.
And the Rupture does land, but option 12, they are turning back because they're losing their base. There's the 1-3-1 that you called for a while back, and it is paying dividends right now. Washed up top laner goes back to interrupt some recalls. But even so, I don't know if he'll go down from this. He's just juking around with the slice and dice right now while his team is in the base.
Yeah,
start about to drop.
I love Wash Up top lane and going back in there and interrupting those backs. That was critical. They can probably finish off the game if they just focus on the Nexus here. And indeed, it looks that way. Blitzkrieg on a huge comeback, coming back and securing game 1 against option 12. That was a great game, and I'm looking forward to the next one.
Well, for those of us who called for a 2-0 for option 12,
I didn't do that, did I? That wasn't what I had.
No, me neither. Absolutely not. It's a good thing that no one records these things and can check or anything like that.
Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't do that if it doesn't sound very fun. I wouldn't recommend.
So in terms of damage dealt to champions, predictably Exia on top. Prowler actually almost leading option 12 with Ace just slightly ahead. Very low damage for Marcus. You can understand given that he was the target of almost every single death mark.
Yeah, at a certain point, just playing to stay alive and working with your team is better than trying to go on a hero's mission and getting some damage and only to die. Very safe play, rightly so, coming out of Lice. That was good. Something that I find interesting is that 2 members of Option 12, being Lux and Prowler, managed to outdamage the majority of Blitzkrieg, kind of showing that the game was really going in Option 12's favor for the longest. For a significant portion.
A champion like Lux with the Lucent Singularity, the Light Binding, the Final Spark, it's a lot of poke damage, so that can sort of inflate your damage to champions sometimes. With Prowler, I'm a little more surprised. I would imagine it must have just been the Vorpal spike spam hitting through 4 or 5 members every fight.
That and the true damage from his ult probably played a big factor as well.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, I think it's time to pause the stream. We'll be right back with Game 2 in just a moment.